Hello and welcome to a new series on the channel called 49-Cent Bargain Bin, where I go on Steam and I choose randomly selected 49-cent games and we review them. Today we're going to start off with a game that I know you all want me to review, and that is Cat Girl Lover. Ooh. Now, don't get your dicks too hard, because the game only teases you with nudity and does not actually let you undress the girls as it says. I reached the target, the gold ending of the gems at the end of the life bar up at the top, and barely anything happened. Stars flashed on the screen, maybe early on some clothing was removed, but the game obviously does not want to show any nudity. Now, I did not play much of the game, probably about, 20 minutes or so, and it's a very, very simple match 3 game with a cute and sexy anime cat girl on the side. There's a few different characters you meet. There's the teacher, there's like another student who's there with you, and then there's also your cat, quote-unquote. Now, the game is very simple. Obviously, it's a match 3. If you get 4 in, if you get 4 of the same gems in an area, it'll do those as well. Obviously, longer strings of gems will create more score, and your bar will go up. There's a total of 3 stars you can get with each level. And usually once you hit the second star, something happens, but nothing really does happen. Stars flash on the side of the screen, and that's it. The boob physics in this game is very weird. The boobs seem to just kind of move up and down randomly. I'm not gonna, of course, should I zoom in on it? Let's zoom and enhance, boys and girls. And yeah, just things are pretty hot and heavy in this school of witchcraft, right? They're teaching you how to disarm opponents, disarm armor, so the teacher's like, take off my clothes, and that is where it goes. Like I said, the game is a big tease. There's no actual, nudity in it, I don't believe. I think one of the tags says nudity, but I tried my hardest on the last 2 levels to try and get this girl's bra off, and it just did not work, guys. So in the end, Cat Girl Lover, is it worth it? Do you like match 3 games? Then maybe. Do you like hot anime cat girls? Then maybe. Do you want to waste your money? Sure, go for it. There's a bunch of match 3 games out there. This one is definitely not one that I would recommend. It's a very slow user interface, and it seems to freeze up a lot, and it seems to just... It's very, very basic. It's kind of like a puzzle game slash, visual novel, however they say it, and there's very limited choices that you can do on it. Obviously, the levels just happen no matter what you pick, and I do believe that anyone who likes Match 3 games would probably want to steer clear of this one. This game was released in 2019, and it's made by the developer Cute Anime Girls, who has a plethora of games in their catalog. There is a lot of hentai games on Steam, which you can, if you search for the cheapest games on sale, which are usually the 49-cent games, you will see just a plethora of hentai in the title games. Now, some of them do actually have nudity, so be careful if you not safe for work type games are on there. The Cute Anime Girls developer doesn't seem to have anything too risque. They do have My Cute Führer, which once that goes on sale, I'll be checking that one out. It looks like it's coming soon, guys. So in the end, Cat Girl Lover, definitely not going to recommend that one, and I unfortunately now forever have this game in my Steam list. Alright! The next game we're going to be talking about is called Not Without My Poop. I played a grand total of 3 minutes of this game, and in those 3 minutes, I hated my life. The concept is goofy enough, where you play as a dung beetle who is trying to move his poop through obstacles and on a path. Now, of course, I just had a straight path for the first level, and I couldn't get this dang thing to move at all. When I finally thought I had something going, I ended up falling off, and then I promptly rage quit. The game has very minimalistic graphics with very rough textures, blocky trees, just things that just don't look too great. I mean, what are you expecting from a game that's selling for a usual price of $1.50? The physics in the game are really weird. The bug just doesn't seem to go where you want it to go, and by the time that you're going the way you want to go, you're practically falling off of the poop ball. So not only does the game not work, it also fails to impress me. There's a lot of things wrong with this game, and I can't recommend anyone getting it, even if you do manage to find it for about 49 cents, right? That's the name of the game. About 49 cents. So I would steer clear of this one for sure. On a ranking of my favorite 49-cent games to lowest, this is probably the lowest right now. But anyways, definitely would not recommend this one. Steer clear of it at all costs. And me personally, I'm going to get a refund. Alright, the next game we're going to talk about is Reading Simulator, and this game is Hell on Earth. That is right, Reading Simulator. So what do you do in this game? Well, you go into a library, either the day mode or the night mode, and you can walk around this library and read books. Now, which books you can read? Oh, that's a grab bag. Some of them are just there for aesthetics. There are tons and tons of books in this game where you just cannot click on them. You can't read them. And the books really don't have any markings on them, so who knows if you're picking up a book called, by Edgar Allan Poe or by Shakespeare. It's just a grab bag. There's no discernible markings on any of the books. There is one grand book at the end of the map, and you just phase through it. You can't even pick it up or read it. Kind of disappointing, to be honest with you. There are day and night mode in this game, so the day mode, everything is orange, and it hurts your eyes so much that you might just go blind. The only way to play this game, if you want to play this game, would be during the night mode. Everything actually doesn't look too bad in the night mode, but in the day mode, yeah, it looks terrible. Oversaturated hell. There's also pictures on every single wall in this game of a blurry picture of Shakespeare, I think it is. It makes the game kind of feel like a horror game when you think about it. Kind of unnerving at times. Also, let's say you're reading Dracula, which is over like 1,000 pages or something like that, and you want to stop midway through. If you click off the book and re-click on the book, it starts you back at the beginning. So there's no like bookmark system in the game, which for a game called Reading Simulator with books that are thousands of pages long, you might want to think about doing that. Is this game worth it? Hell no. This is worse than Not Without My Poop and Cat Girl Lover, and I think that I'm going to be getting another refund at the end of this. It's just so bad, dude. So fucking bad. And the music just loops over and over and over again. You feel like you're really in an oversaturated hell. And now we're moving on to Planes, Bullets, and Vodka. And I think this is the first game that we've actually played in this one that has actual game elements. The point of this game is it's a top-down, kind of like a bullet hell shooter where you just kind of go along an infinite growing path. And what happens is you shoot down the planes, you get upgrades, you get health, you get shields, etc., etc. As you go through the level, the planes stop becoming just like dive bombers and they start shooting you. Other planes, they're big planes, they shoot more bullets. Other ones, they're like dropping bombs that you can shoot out of the air. Other planes will actually target you and fly towards you, shooting you. The one thing about this game is it's not very difficult, and the achievements are about as easy as the game, right? Just get as many kills as you can. And out of 8 minutes of playing, I got 7 out of 9 achievements, but I got no cards for the badge, which is kind of concerning to me. Yeah, the funny thing about this game is the concept of it, like planes, bullets, and vodka, but there's really no vodka portion to it other than the little cutscene you get before starting off. The guy drinks a little jug of vodka there, which is, I mean, the graphics are kind of cutesy. They're very minimalistic, but they're fun little graphical things. The game the game is exactly what it says. It's planes, bullets, and vodka, right? It's kind of fun for a little bit, but there's sections of the game where you can kind of just hold the button down and the plane will just go, and because you get so many upgrades so fast, you get max upgrade within the first level or two, and you can just, I mean, there's sections of this game where I just held down the the straight button, fly straight, and that's it. That's all I had to do. Or actually, I didn't even touch the buttons at all because your plane just keeps going forward no matter what. You also will take damage if you hit the sides of the wall. I do like the interface of this game with the control console at the bottom kind of looking like a plane. That's kind of cool. The words, though, they're using some sort of font, like a Russian font, and the words are very difficult to read if you are reading in any language, I would guess. I mean, especially English. I was like kind of wondering what the words were, kind of looking at them for a few seconds, and finally it's like, oh, that's the word I'm looking for. There's not a lot to do in this game. It's just a simple bullet hell type game, kind of like a game we reviewed in the past called Xeon 25, whatever it was called. This game is kind of like that game. I actually like this game better than that one. I felt like the difficulty did amp up a lot, but it was a gradual difficulty shift, and the game does get a lot harder when you're going through those narrow passages later on in the game. So if you want to check this one out, definitely check this one out. It's a pretty fun little time-wasting game. For 49 cents, you can't go wrong. The next game we're going to talk about is called Knights. This is it's based on the chess piece, The Knight, which is the shape of a horse. And of course, knights can only move in L shapes. So it's an interesting concept. I feel like the music just makes me want to go to sleep in this one. And the puzzles were very, very easy early on, where you could literally just click randomly and you would eventually get it. Later on in the levels, they did get a little bit more challenging. You kind of had to think about them a little bit more. Eventually, they add like 3 and 4 horses for you to match and put to their respective colors. So the point of the game is to put the blue horses on the blue spots, red horses on the red spots, gold horses on the gold spots, etc. Not the most amazing game. It was definitely like a very, very basic like puzzle game. But it has an interesting concept. It's kind of neat. If you like puzzle games, you might want to check this one out. And for 49 cents, what more could you want? Alright, the next game we're going to be checking out is called Way Out. Not to be confused with A Way Out, which came out years later. Way Out is another puzzle game where you press on a button and it causes other buttons to either go down or up around you. The game is more frustrating than it appears to be. I got very quickly frustrated with the game, and I ended up just not... I just didn't like it. The puzzling mechanics was just like... It was more irritating to me than anything else. You press down on a red button, 2 other buttons pop up next to it. You press down on a white button, the opposite happens, where like the opposite red buttons would pop up. So once the button is popped down, it's a white button, and once it's popped up, it's a red button. And if you press the white button, it'll kind of do like the opposite effect of what pressing a red button does, right? All in all, it's a pass from me. It's worse than a Knights game. It's more frustrating than a Knights game. If you want to check it out, you can. It has a very short looping soundtrack, which really got really annoying fast too. So yeah, thumbs down from me. The next game we're going to talk about is called Scene. This one I actually gave away not too long ago on my Twitch channel. Free Steam games I give away pretty much one every stream, but that's not the point of this video. The point is to talk about the game. So Scene is really weird. It's like a combination between like a puzzle... I don't know if it's really puzzle, but it's like puzzle, non-stop running kind of game. I don't know exactly how to describe it. You pick up... like these little blue orbs of hope, and you're supposed to dodge the negativity orbs, which are red, of course. Those negatively affect your score. It's kind of like a limbo type game where you're running in a straight line, but you have like 4 or 5 different paths you can go on. You press the arrow keys to choose a path, and you can jump, and you can interact with things as well. The game's a little bit slow at giving you tutorial messages, but by the time that you get to like the 2nd or 3rd level, you kind of understand what's happening. There's a few things in the game that aren't explored fully that I was kind of wanting them to explore more. Obviously, I didn't get through the whole game, but so far it seems like there's a concept here, and then it kind of forgets about that concept and it moves on. The game for a little bit turned into like a rhythm game where you kind of collected the orbs in sync with the music, which was really fun. And there was a few sections that had me stumped, or not really stumped, but I had to kind of think about it. There's some good platforming action in the game as well. There's also a mechanic where you cover your ears to block out negative things that people are saying to you. It's a very interesting game, and it kind of delves into depression. So if you are sensitive to that kind of thing, you might want to stay away from this one. But if you're a fan of platformers and a deep story and good music, I think this one is definitely a win for the 49-cent column. It's definitely a game that's worth it and more. And right now, it's actually, I guess it's an early access. I don't know what they mean by that, if the game's just not finished or whatever, but what can you do? Also, the game did have a critical error when I originally loaded the game up, and then with a simple, restart, it worked fine, so I don't think that's something to be too concerned about. The achievements in the game also pop like a ton. Like there's 210 achievements in the game, and in the 16 minutes I played of it so far, I got 41 achievements, and they're just kind of like popping up over and over and over and over again. I'm pretty sure most of them have to do with just different, collecting certain amount of hope during a run and stuff like that. There's also challenges in the game, so that I think there's like how many? There's like 5 or so challenges I think in the game. And each one of those is kind of more and more difficult. It's a very weird achievement system in the game. It's very weird. So there's 13 challenges in the game. So I think that this one is definitely worth it. If you're looking for like a Limbo type game with puzzle elements and interesting story, I think this one's definitely for you, and I would definitely recommend picking it up. The next game that I want to talk about is called Die Hard Dungeon. It's actually like a really good game for what it's worth. The game is of course a dungeon crawler. I think it has different rooms every time you go through it. So you wake up in a dungeon and you just kind of collect items as you go through, collect money, and you try and get to the end. Now, I don't know how long this game is, but it's a pretty fun game. There's a few different mechanics in it and different weapons and chests and stuff you can find. It's a pretty competent game for what it's worth, and I think that if you're looking for like a quick action game, it's not too bad. I think the mechanics are easy enough to learn. There's like special moves you can do with each item. You have a sword and a pistol at the beginning that I got. The enemies are pretty varied as you go through. I met several different enemy types while going through the first time on this game. And it's got a little bit of a challenge to it, but it's not too difficult. There were some enemies where I just kind of like mashed right click or left click, and I was able to kill them really fast, which it seemed like they should have been more difficult. And of course, there are more difficult enemies as you go through the game, but for the most part, it's a competent game. For 49 cents, I would definitely recommend it. And yeah, it's a cool game. I'll definitely play more of this one in the future. The art style is a little bit off-putting to me. I don't like the perspective on the character, but other than that, not bad. Alright, so the next game is called Paradox Wrench. It's kind of got like a Portal vibe to it with a Stanley Parable narrator who talks about riddles the entire time you play. The basic plot of the game, or the basic structure of the game, is there's orange and blue, and your gun can change from orange to blue depending on if you press right click. When you press the fire button, you can shoot and change blocks to that specific color. And some of the main things about the game is like shooting certain platforms and changing them to a certain color. And like when your gun is blue, you can only pick up blue objects. When your gun's orange, you only pick up orange objects. You can also play this game in co-op, apparently, which might make the game a little bit easier. For me, it was just kind of like a boring experience, and the sound of you stepping is like, oh my god, it's nauseating to hear yourself step. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's awful. It's awful. There were some rooms that were kind of challenging. There is a skip level option, I guess. I think it only works once every so often. Other than that, the game was really boring and not much fun. And like I said, there's like like the sound of your footsteps is the only thing. There's no like music, there's no nothing. There's just the narrator who talks to you when you go into the sliding doors, and then when you walk out of them, he tells you another riddle. And it was just like, it was just really it wasn't like frustrating, it was just really boring, and it was so boring that it made my stomach upset. And that's why I'm giving this one a no, do not recommend. Alright, and the final game we have today is called Munin? One of those. It's a game about Norse mythology. You follow along a crow that was transformed by Loki into like a half bird, half human type thing. And your goal is to collect all the feathers in a level, and then you move on to the next level. The game's pretty interesting. The art design is way cooler than like the character design. I think the character design is kind of lame, but the art design overall is really cool. Like almost like a watercolor painted kind of look to it. One of the neat mechanics in the game is you can turn the world. So there's squares that you press and it turns that portion of the square in 4 different directions, of course. Some of the squares are linked together and some of them aren't. There's spikes in the game, you can jump in the game. The only thing that really kind of bugged me about it was while you're climbing up ladders, sometimes it seems like you're at the top, but you're not actually at the top, so you don't move anywhere. And you have to like go up another like millimeter, and then it allows you to move side to side. I think it's a cool concept. It's interesting, but not like so interesting that I'm like sold forever. It's a good game, and I think I would recommend it. If it's 49 cents, and it's a pretty cool game. I think it's a little bit short though. Overall though, it's a nice game, so definitely would recommend that one. All right, thank you for watching this episode of 49 Cent Grab Bag. I don't know if I'll do 10 games each episode, but a lot of them I got refunds on, so that's good. You know, I can make a little bit of money back by taking out the garbage games. But overall, not too bad of a selection. I think a lot of the games are just kind of like boring puzzle games. And there were a few kind of hidden gems in this one as well. Probably my favorite out of all these ones, Scene, followed by Planes, Bullets, and Vodka, Munin, and Die Hard Dungeon, and then the rest of them are kind of just like thrown together at the end. Probably the least favorite one was Reading Simulator, and right above that would probably be I don't even know. I don't even know at this point. Alright, once again, thank you for watching. I'm Yummy the Ferret, and I am out of here.